Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today, we are going to get into emotion regulation. So that is one of my favorite modules in DBT. It will teach us what are our emotions, when are they justified, when are they helpful, when are they effective, when are they not, when do we want to change them. And in our book, we'll be starting on page 197. So page 197. Again, if anybody wants to chat, ask questions, comment, feel free to do so. I'll be happy to answer whatever I can. This has been kind of a heavy week. We're in the holidays. If you're watching live, it's always a emotionally intense time, both good and bad. So I wanted to start with a loving kindness meditation. This is called Tonglen in Buddhism, but it can be a completely secular practice. It's a really good way to practice neutral acceptance. So again, going back to acceptance and commitment therapy, in that model, we believe that when you push away from something, that actually causes attachment to it. Try not to have something connects you closer to it, or pulling towards something and wanting and needing also ironically can cause distress. So I think it's Eckhart Tolle that says stress is just not wanting to be where you are. And so attachment to this idea of what you want things to be. I don't want to be cold. I don't want to be sad. I do want to have that new book. I do want to have some better food. I don't want to have this annoying fly buzzing around. I do and I don't, and I do and I don't, and I want this and I don't want this. That push and pull is what really kind of causes misery a lot of times. And so acceptance, radical acceptance, which we did go over in the distress tolerance module, is a way to just allow what is to be. And it sounds kind of cheesy and cliche, but it can be one of the most profound, powerful skills, really, that you can learn how to do. Oh, Lord, let me make sure I'm actually recording. So loving kindness helps us move out of that tendency to like get away from the icky and the bad and try to get more of the yummy and the good and just let whatever flows. And in loving kindness, we actually kind of do the opposite. And so you'll see as we get into it, but it's a real kind of brain teaser to breathe in that which you would normally push away. So let's go ahead and do it. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable to you. If not, just gaze gently at a spot in front of you. Unfocus your eyes. Bring your awareness to your body in the present moment. Your body is always an anchor that can ground you in the present, which is what mindfulness is. Taking the flashlight of your attention and shining it really directly onto your breath. Maybe notice the sounds in the room, the sensations in your body, and even noticing the thoughts that are popping into your head. We can bring out our observing self and just notice the phenomenon that is you. All of these millions of little sensory inputs. And now I would like you to imagine someone that you love, someone that you hold in high regard. This can be someone that's currently in your life, someone that used to be in your life. It can be an animal, it can be a religious figure, whomever you love. Imagine this beautiful being and know that they have pain and sorrow and sadness. And they also have joy and delight and peace. And imagine that you are breathing in their difficulties, the darkness, the pain, the sorrow. And imagine that you're breathing in that black darkness. And when you breathe out blue, cool, crystalline light that goes to them and surrounds them with loving kindness. And as you imagine them taking in your loving kindness, you will repeat these phrases. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. And may you have peace. Breathing in their pain, breathing in their sorrow and sadness and fear. Breathing out these well wishes. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. And may you be at peace. Continue to breathe through that cycle, sending those wishes out to them in prayer or meditation or just the secular idea of well wishing. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you be safe. And may you be at peace. And now allowing that idea of a loved one to fade away. Call to mind now a neutral person. This is someone that you see on a fairly regular basis. You know who they are, but you don't really know them. So maybe your mailman, the clerk at the gas station that you go to, or the grocery store that you shop at, maybe a neighbor that you don't know very well. Just someone that's in your awareness and you don't have positive or negative attributes to. And now we think the same things to them. We know that in their human condition, they have pain and sorrow, joy and delight. But think about their difficulties, how many times they have fallen and hurt their knees or been disappointed or had their feelings hurt, what struggles they might be having now that might be happening. And breathe in that pain and sorrow. And breathe out this cool blue light that goes and surrounds them with these wishes. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. And may you have peace. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. And may you have peace. And with each exhalation, you send this light to them. And now we allow that neutral person to fade. And let's bring about the whole world, the country, the state, the city, There are so many people right now getting engaged, having a baby born, people dying, people falling and tripping and getting hurt, people winning an award. Just all the beautiful and terrible and wonderful and tragic things in life are happening right now to millions of people. And imagine just breathing in that pain and darkness, breathing out to the whole world, all sentient beings. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. And may you have peace. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you be safe. And may you have peace. And continue to act as this vehicle, this conduit of well wishing, blessings out to the world. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. And may you have peace. And as the world at large fades, we'll go a level that's more complex. Bring to mind someone that is fairly difficult for you, someone that has wronged you, someone that you disagree with, maybe a political person, maybe an ex or a family member that is just very difficult for you. And call them to mind. If you need to keep them at a distance, that's fine. But know that these individuals too were once tiny little babies, a little 6-month-old baby laughing and giggling, a toddler that was falling and scraping their knee. They were a teenager with insecurities and fears and hopes, and believing in the worth and humanity within each person, and that we come from a source of good, although we can do terrible things. Imagine breathing in their pain and sorrow and darkness, which they have, and breathing out these blue light well wishes. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you have peace. May you be safe. Breathing in again and out. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be at peace. And as we practice this loving kindness, just notice what happens in your body. Notice any reactions that you may have. Notice emotions that might come up. You can't do this wrong. Just notice. And finally, as we allow this difficult individual to fade away, call to mind yourself, which again can be another level of complexity. But notice your own tendrils of darkness, the pain in your heart, the times that you have fallen, your heart that's been broken, the difficulties you've experienced. And as you breathe in and breathe out, beautiful, cool, blue, healing light that surrounds yourself. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. And may I have peace. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. And may I have peace. Continue this mantra, noticing any reactions. One last time, breathing in and back to yourself. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe and may I have peace. Breathe in one last time. Breathing out. Release the mantra. Open your eyes and come back to the room. Okay. So again, I'm checking to see if things are working. That can be a big win. People can really not like it. People can love it. People can weep. People can not react positively at all. There's not a right experience, obviously. Oh, I'm so glad that you're here, Friar. Tell me if I go mute again. So, loving kindness meditation. I would imagine it's in your book somewhere. I'm not gonna look it up. It's a good one. It's a good mindfulness exercise. It reminds us of the connection that we have. It reminds us that we're all people. It reminds us not to try to escape the badness and not to try to hoard the goodness. And when we get to that difficult person, if they're happy, if they're healthy, if they're safe, and if they're at peace, they're probably not going to be so difficult, right? I mean, I think of, certain political figures that I'm not a fan of. That one particular dude was a happy guy. If he was healthy, if he was safe, and if he felt peaceful, he probably wouldn't be so awful. So I know it feels very kind of scary and confusing and conflicting and bizarre and against human nature, kind of, to allow the badness and the ickiness and the darkness to exist and even bring it towards us and give people that we don't like and that we're really scared of or disgusted by or whatever, to give them these good things. But it can be a really powerful practice. And Lord knows that, oh, great, thank you. Lord knows we need it right now, given the state of existence. But one thing that really comforts me when I'm weeping into my pillow at night due to whatever difficulties and tragedies are in my own life, there are thousands, maybe millions of people out there doing loving kindness meditations all the time. I think it's on the Calm app. If not, it's on one of the other meditation apps that will tell you how many other people are out there doing mindfulness when you log yours. And so just think of all these sweet people out there sending loving kindness out to you and wishing you safety and health and happiness and peace. What a sweet. And when I was doing it, I was sending it out to anybody that was listening, magic juju vibes. Who knows? Who knows what works, but it's a nice thought and it shifts something inside of you. If the very least it's a mindfulness practice, it gets you into the here and now. And it helps to just loosen up that rigidity of bad is bad and push away and good is good and cling to. Decreasing attachment, decreasing the running and the pushing and the pulling. So, all right, loving kindness. Emotion regulation. Why do we have emotions? When do we want to have emotions? What are emotions good for? Emotions and relationships, although they are probably the two most complicated and difficult and misery-inducing aspects of life, they are also what makes life worth living. If you don't have any emotions, you're depressed. Depression is not really excess sadness, it's apathy. It's just an absence of emotion. It's like, I always use the example of lukewarm, kind of gooey oatmeal after you've had a big Thanksgiving meal. Just no thanks, I'm good. That's how everything is when you're depressed. Your brain loses the capacity to see newness, to have that thrill of ooh. Your brain is just meh. Instead of ooh, it's meh. That's depression. Depression is not having emotions. And of course, there's sadness and stuff that comes with it and can bring you to that really, really dark, apathetic place. but joy and hope and love and magic and surprise and zest and enthusiasm and curiosity. Like these are the things that make life worth going through the difficulties that exist in it. And love, relationships, bonding, connection, like human animals are just social. We need other people. And so emotions and relationships, what bring us the most misery in life, but also the most joy and pleasure and meaning and purpose. So that's one of the reasons why we need to have emotions. Dysphoria, yeah, for sure. Just meh. They make life worth living. They also communicate. So again, we're social animals. Our faces give more information than our words or our actions. Before we were even verbal, our faces gave information to other people. And little kids who don't have words, their emotions will tell you if they're, if they're mad, if they're sad, if they're scared, if something is hurting them, if something is worrying them, if something is pleasing them. We know based on the way their face looks. Emotions instantly give other people information about your internal state and the world around you. And this is how we survived. So if we're all together in our cave and I make this face, you're instantly going to be like, whoa, what the heck is behind me? Is there a lion? It's instantly going to make you perk up and look around. If I have a face of fear, if I have a face like this, you're going to back away. I don't know what's going on with you, but I'm not going to get close to you because you have this face of like anger and fear and anger and rage and intensity. So your emotional state, the expression of your emotions influences other people. It's going to cause them to behave in a certain way. If you're scared, they're going to look around and notice and wake up and pay attention. If you're angry, they're going to back away from you. If you're sad, so if I have this face, I'm really sad. If you're not a jerk, for all of your lovely people, you're gonna be like, oh my goodness, what's wrong? Comfort. Come here. Let me be closer to you. Let me find out more. What has happened? Let me give you soothing, comfort, nurturance. Let me help protect you. Let me aid you. Let me be a good tribe member. So sadness, joy. If I make this face, yay, after I just eat something, you're gonna want to eat it too. If I make this face, after I eat something, you're not gonna want to eat it instantly. And like they've done brain scans, like it is milliseconds that it takes to have that emotional reaction when you see somebody else's emotion. In fact, that's how empathy works with the mirror neurons. You instantly also feel that emotion. So if I make, oh, you feel a little bit of disgust, and then you're like, oh, she's disgusted. That's how it works. Interestingly, people with BPD, borderline personality disorder, their system is a little bit wonky in that they see neutral emotional states more negatively. So it's messed up because they're super sensitive. They are really empathic. They are really perceptive and intuitive, which is great for them and helps them read a room and understand like what's going on and be able to kind of gauge emotional mood. But they're more likely to err on the side of danger. And somebody's mad at me, somebody's sad, somebody's angry, somebody's scary. They see, so, they found this through fMRI tests of showing them a neutral emotional face, and they're going to perceive it in a more negative light. So you got to double check if that is you, that your idea is that somebody has a mad look on their face. Check to see if it's accurate, or a scared look, or a sad look, or any kind of negative look. Okay. So emotions, and we're working on page 210 right now. Emotions communicate to yourself and others. Your brain actually has an emotion before you have the thought of, oh my God, that's a snake. You have the emotional reaction of fear, and then you understand, oh my gosh, I'm afraid. What is that? That's a snake. So it communicates to you, it communicates to other people, it influences you and other people to behave. With every emotion um, there's a behavior that goes with it. So if I feel fear, I want to run away. If I feel sadness, I want to like sink down and isolate. If I feel anger, I want to punch and attack. We'll get into those specifics soon. But every emotion has a behavior that goes with it. Um, and emotions motivate us. They begin that behavioral process. They motivate and influence and communicate to other people, and they communicate to yourself. Now, these are all the good things about emotions. Sometimes we can have emotions when it doesn't really make sense. If we were only scared of dangerous things, that'd be awesome because people would never have panic attacks unless they were getting chased by a lion. But then the panic attack would be helpful because it raises your heart rate and it raises your oxygen content and it raises your ability to run really fast and jump and escape, right? That's what a panic attack is. It is this preparation to survive, to fight, to flee. And so it's super helpful if you're being chased. It doesn't feel like a panic attack. It just feels like I am running away from a lion. But if you're sitting in your cubicle at your office and have all of these physical sensations of being chased, very inconvenient. So I am not a fan of slugs or leeches. Ugh, this is a face of disgust. They're disgusting to me and they're creepy and they're kind of scary. This is what I want to do, right? Pull back, push away. I don't mind snails so much because they have like a cute little house. I don't know why. Slug, oh, no, thank you. Is my fear for them valid? Sure. I saw one having salt put on it when I was a kid, and it just has freaked me out ever since. If somebody said, oh, that's dumb, you shouldn't be afraid of slugs, that would be invalidating, and that would be a jerk move. So we validate emotional experiences. Whatever emotion you're having is valid. Who knows why you're having it? Who knows why you're disgusted? Who knows why you're scared? Maybe it's logical, maybe it's not, it doesn't matter. Whatever emotional experience you're having is valid and it may not be justified. It is not justified for me to be scared of slugs. As far as I know, there's never been a death by slug. They're not dangerous. Similarly, clowns. I mean, they're, the movie It or the weird clown stuff that sometimes people do, but in general, a picture of a clown is not dangerous. It's valid that some people are creeped out by them and don't like them and are scared of them. But it's not justified. So this is how we know, like, should I be having this emotion or not? Is it justified? Does it make sense? It's valid that I have it. Whatever I have, it's valid. But is it justified? And so that's really where we get into like really analyzing our emotions, understanding them, and then that gives us the opportunity to change them if they're not justified. And if we so choose to. If you're angry at somebody and it's not justified and it doesn't make sense, but you still want to be angry at them, then rock on with your bad self. Like nobody is changing any emotion for you or telling you what to do. But Lord knows, having strong emotions or having emotions that don't really make sense can make your life miserable. So if you so choose to change your emotions, this chapter will help you do it. Okay. So it's really hard to regulate your emotions. It is a skill that normal, healthy people learn through life and through example. Healthy parents, healthy friends, healthy family, whomever. If you didn't have that opportunity, it is really, really, really hard to regulate your emotion. If you're a very sensitive person, if you don't have the skills, sometimes our emotions can also be reinforced. So if every time my husband asks me to do the dishes, I scream and yell and break his favorite dish, he's probably going to stop asking me to do the dishes and then I don't have to do the dishes. So I'm accidentally, cool, dude, glad you showed up. He's not trying to reinforce my behavior. I'm not trying to get him to stop asking me to do the dishes, but it's an accidental reinforcement of the behavior. So if you're really sad and helpless and flailing on the floor and people come and help you, that may reinforce that behavior. If you're really angry and throwing fits, that may reinforce the behavior if people change their behaviors based on that. So you might accidentally have reinforcement of that emotional behavior. Your moods, your hormones, your chemistry, it might also make it hard when you're emotionally overloaded. It's super hard to regulate your emotion. And then having this belief system that these emotional myths are accurate can get you in trouble. So some of the emotional myths that she talks about is there's a right and a wrong way to feel in every situation. I mean, sort of. There's a justified way probably to feel, but given any of our histories, there's not a right and a wrong way to feel in any given situation. You know, finding $100 on the sidewalk shouldn't necessarily make you feel happy. Maybe it makes you feel sad because somebody lost it. You know, maybe it makes you feel angry that people have $100 bills just being thrown around. Like, there's a lot of different ways to feel in any given situation. Letting others know that I feel bad is a weakness. Negative feelings are bad and destructive, and we shouldn't have any of them. Painful emotions are the result of a bad attitude. If others don't approve of my feelings, I shouldn't have them. Extreme emotions get you further than regulating them. It's inauthentic to try to change my emotions. My emotions are just who I am. Emotions can happen for no reason. Emotions should always be trusted. These are all myths. Spoiler alert. They're all wrong. So if you believe any of those, and there's like 21 of them, there's several others, then that's probably preventing you from changing some things. If you really believe that you should never show a negative emotion and nobody should ever know when you're upset because that makes you look weak, you know, good luck with that. And good luck regulating your emotions, because you won't even allow yourself to have some, then they're probably going to pop out somewhere else. It's really tricky. Okay. When I do the emotion regulation module, I do it a little bit backwards from the layout in the book. All right, so I'm going to I'm going to try to draw for you. This may be a little tricky. We'll see if it shows up. I'm going to give this a second and see if it's going to pop up. And okay, great. Here we go. So when I teach emotion regulation, I do this messy grid, and we go through the big emotions. So this is the emotion. Oh, and this is going to be totally illegible, but whatever. You can get it as I'm talking. The emotion is here. Every emotion has an urge that goes with it, so a behavioral urge, and it has a reason why it's justified, like we've been talking about. And then one of the first skills that we talk about in emotion regulation is opposite action. Okay. So I'm actually going to move around too while I do this. So let's go through the big emotions and talk about what these things are with them. So let's say sadness. You can feel sad, you can feel mad, you can feel glad, and then fear, And then you can get into like jealousy, disgust, shame, guilt, envy. Those are all some good ones too. But we'll just stick with these top 4. So when you feel sad, the behavioral urge I've already talked about is to isolate. You want to be alone. Usually people say they want to cry, and then I say, well, where do you want to cry? You want to cry in your room alone. You don't want to cry in front of everybody at the retirement party. If you're sad, you want to isolate. Sadness is justified if you've had a loss. If you're the one that's retiring, that's a loss. If your leg has been cut off, that's a loss. If your partner has died, if your dog has died, if you've been fired, if you're disappointed, like that's a different variation of loss, right? That's just a loss of hope, a loss of expectation. Any kind of loss, it makes sense to be sad. And it's actually healthy to isolate a little bit. So, I'm going to pop back and forth from this share so that I can lecture and then go back to share. So it's healthy to be sad. Oh, let me double check too. I swear I'm going to get a new headset. It's healthy to be sad. It's healthy to show sadness. Because like I said, it communicates to your tribe, right? So if you show sadness, people will be like, oh my goodness, you've lost something. Let me come closer to you. Let me stand guard and watch for predators on the horizon. Let me bring you food. You lost your leg. Let me hunt for you. Let me bring you food. Let me comfort you while you heal in this kind of withdrawn capacity. So sadness makes you go internal, withdraw, reduce your energy output, and heal. So if it's the bear that got its foot cut off in a trap, it goes into its cave, it licks its wounds, it heals, and now once it's healed, it goes back out into the world. That's the important part. That's where we get stuck with depression, is we don't go back out after the amount of isolation that should happen has happened. So sadness is a good thing. You should feel sad. Sadness means that you cared. It means that you lost something that you cared about. It's a beautiful thing, as painful as it is, to be sad at a funeral. Of course, you're supposed to be sad for somebody that you care about. Of course, you're supposed to be sad if you didn't get the job that you wanted. It means that you really wanted it. And the only way to avoid sadness is to not want anything and not care about anything, which is possible. And it makes for a really crappy life. It's not pleasant to not care and not want and not love and not have any connection to anything, so that you avoid sadness and avoid loss at all costs. Because you can't selectively numb the emotions. You can stop being sad. You can stop being angry. You can stop being scared. But you can't only stop being sad, scared, lonely, angry, whatever. If you mute or numb or decrease, if you numb those emotions, you also numb joy, curiosity, pleasure, hope, intrigue, all the good ones. And so we see this a lot of times with PTSD, where they just numb out and they don't feel anything to protect themselves from feeling all the bad stuff, but then you lose all the good stuff. Let me repeat that. You cannot selectively numb emotions. You can numb them. You can drink them away, drug them away, work them away, avoid them away. You can numb emotions, but it's an on and off switch, and it goes across the board. So don't recommend it. Okay, so let's go back to the charts. All right, so sadness is appropriate if you've had a loss. The urge is to isolate, that's fine. Anger, the urge is to attack. That's kind of tricky. It's appropriate if your goals have been blocked. So the crappy thing that we have in today's society is that goals are blocked often. You know, if you're trying to get from your house to work on time and the freeway is in a gridlock, Your goal to getting to work on time is blocked, and so anger is appropriate and justified, and your urge to attack makes sense. Problem with anger is that it's just not useful anymore in that degree and in that sense. We can't just get out of our car and club somebody with a club. You know, we're not cavemen. It doesn't work that way anymore. You'll go to jail. So even though your anger is probably justified a lot, it's no longer effective. Attacking is not helpful. Road rage is like the best example for this. Like, it is not helpful to be angry when you're driving, like, almost ever. A little bit of anger if somebody is being really dangerous around you, just enough to get you to back away and not be hurt. But fear would even be more appropriate there. Anger is not helpful in a lot of contexts where it does make sense. Um, Goodness, what else? Oh, there's just a million modern world examples of being angry and frustrated and having the urge to attack, um, and it just not being helpful. Being mad at your computer, like it not working. That's justified, but like breaking open your computer, not helpful anymore. Happiness, this actually does matter. We want to know, when is it justified and what is the urge. So the urge is to repeat. If something brings you joy, pleasure, you want to repeat it, but it's only appropriate if it improves your life. Oh, so there's so many things that do not improve our life that give us joy. Heroin, Oreos, starving ourselves, over exercising, under exercising, um, goodness, any kind of addiction is fallen into this category. It is pleasurable. Looking on your phone for 12 hours a day, playing video games obsessively, having risky sex, being in a relationship with an abusive partner. You love them. They bring you joy. It happens all the time with my domestic abuse victim clients. They like want to shake my shoulders and tell me, like, you don't understand. They're also a good person. I also love them. They're also nice or wonderful or sweet or, hurting or whatever. And they abuse me. And I tell all of them, that's what always happens. Like, if they were only an abusive, bad person, you wouldn't be with them and it would be really easy to leave, especially at the beginning. So, being in a relationship that no longer improves your life, joy and love and happiness is probably not justified, even if you might feel it. So, does it improve your life or not? That's a very subjective question. And the last one that we'll get into today is fear. Like I said earlier, fear is only justified if there's danger. Slugs aren't dangerous. High places aren't necessarily dangerous. Small spaces aren't dangerous. Um, Clowns, whatever your phobia is, unless it's like actually being afraid of, you know, being stabbed or something, like that's justified. But the urge is to avoid. So if there's something dangerous, we feel fear and we want to avoid it. Great idea. Saves your life. But if we get into a more kind of abstract thinking about this, we avoid feeling yucky. We avoid feeling guilty. So we just stay away from our sister that we owe money to. We avoid discomfort. So we don't allow ourselves to feel sad, right? So avoidance, going back to loving kindness, is 80% of the problem. And 80% of the problems is actually not dangerous to feel a feeling. I know it feels like you're going to explode, you're going to die, you're going to have a heart attack, you're going to just internally combust if you allow yourself to feel the fear or the sadness or the anger. And so we do addictive stuff. We work more, we procrastinate because we don't want to feel the discomfort of the overwhelming task. And so we just don't do it. I do that, right? but the overwhelming task is actually not dangerous. And so avoiding doesn't make sense. Fear does not make sense. Okay. So I will get into opposite action, which is a whole skill, next time. I'll give you a little teaser. If we do the behavioral urge that the emotion is wanting you to do, if you run away when you feel scared, you're going to feel more scared next time. If you punch somebody when you're angry, you're actually going to feel more angry. If you repeat something that makes you feel joy, you're going to feel more joy. If you do the behavioral urge, the emotion increases. So we can work with that behavioral urge and do the opposite action, and it will decrease the emotion. So this is everything that exposure is based on. So like fear-based phobias. There's a beautiful YouTube of, if you just Google or YouTube snake phobia, there's some, I don't know where he's from, European guy that is teaching about snake phobias, and he walks this woman through her snake phobia, and it works beautifully. So that is the practice of doing the opposite of the behavior that you have the urge to do when it's not justified. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up today. We'll get into opposite action next time. Much love to everyone. Practice your mindfulness and think about your emotions. If you don't track it already in like a diary card or an app, it would be a really good idea to track your emotions.